Did you know there's a tiny, ordinary-looking coin that could change your life forever because it's one of the rarest and most valuable pieces of currency in American history? The 1954 South USA 1-cent coin, a humble penny that most people would overlook in the bottom of a jar, yet its face value is a mere 1 cent, while its collector's value has soared to an astonishing $3 million, making it a piece of pocket change worth more than many luxury mansions and the kind of treasure that turns average people into instant millionaires when discovered. And this mind-blowing fact is only the beginning, because rare coins like this are tiny time capsules carrying with them the history, craftsmanship, and economic story of an entire nation. And the 1954 penny, minted in San Francisco during a time of post-war economic boom, carries the charm of its era with its Lincoln portrait front and the wheat ears reverse. But its astronomical value comes from a mix of extreme scarcity, historical interest, and the obsessive demand from collectors who will pay fortunes for coins in pristine condition, especially when they're a part of numismatic legends. And it's worth noting that in coin collecting, condition is king. Even the smallest scratch, discoloration, or wear can drop a coin's value drastically. So when a near-perfect specimen of such a rare minting comes to auction, it's not surprising to see bidding wars erupt between wealthy enthusiasts, museums, and private investors who view such coins as both cultural treasures and long-term investments. And just to understand the scale of how such coins become so rare, you need to know about mint errors, limited runs, and historical factors. For example, sometimes a small batch is struck before a design change or a production halt, and these become sought after because only a tiny fraction survive in the decades that follow. Much like how other famous coins such as the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1943 Copper Penny, or the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar have become the stuff of modern treasure hunting legend. And when you dive deep into the world of coin collecting, you realize it's not just about metal discs, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the deep history of metallurgy and engraving, the fascinating stories of the mints, and the unbelievable fortunes made and lost in the numismatic market, a market which has its own booms and busts much like the stock market, driven by collector trends, economic conditions, and the appearance of exceptional pieces at auctions. And one of the most captivating parts is how sometimes these coins surface in the most unexpected places: a flea market box of random change, an inherited jar of pennies in an attic, a roll of coins from a bank teller that hasn't been touched in decades, and the moment the right pair of eyes spots that telltale mint mark, date, or error detail, a life can change in an instant. Which is why countless enthusiasts comb through coins daily hoping to find that once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And if you think that's far-fetched, consider how many stories there are of people unknowingly spending or receiving rare coins in ordinary transactions, like the man who used a valuable silver quarter to pay for a parking meter, or the woman who bought groceries with a $1,000 valued nickel without realizing it. Which only adds to the allure and almost mythical reputation of coins like the 1954 penny, because it reminds us that massive fortunes might be hiding in plain sight right under our noses. And speaking of hiding in plain sight, the design of the Lincoln cent has remained relatively consistent since 1909, which makes spotting a rare date even more challenging unless you know exactly what to look for. Subtle differences in the mint mark, unusual die cracks, double die strikes, or off-center strikes can turn a common coin into an extraordinary one. And the 1954 has that added San Francisco mint heritage that is itself a point of fascination for collectors, because the SF Mint historically had smaller output than Philadelphia or Denver, leading to inherently lower supply. And when lower supply meets high demand, values skyrocket. But beyond the numbers, there's also the emotional factor, because collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying a tangible link to history, a piece of Americana that has survived wars, economic upheavals, cultural revolutions, and decades of handling. And that's part of why coin collecting remains one of the oldest and most enduring hobbies in the world, appealing equally to historians, investors, and treasure hunters. And here's something else that keeps the passion alive: the possibility that there are still undiscovered treasures out there in circulation, which fuels the modern equivalent of a gold rush as people all over the world search for that lucky coin, much like people dream of hitting the lottery. Except this jackpot might be hiding in your desk drawer right now, and once you start thinking that way, you can't help but glance twice at every coin you handle, imagining that you might be holding a life-changing piece of history. Which brings us back to the staggering reality of the 1954's penny. How such a small, seemingly insignificant object can be worth millions, changing hands from collector to collector, auction to auction, until it finds a permanent home in a collection where it will be preserved for future generations. And that's the magic of numismatics, the intersection of art, history, economics, and human fascination with the rare and valuable. And if this kind of hidden treasure story excites you as much as it excites me, make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story about the treasures hiding all around us. And while the 1954's penny might already sound like the ultimate jackpot, it's not alone in the pantheon of jaw-dropping numismatic treasures, because standing even taller in terms of sheer shock value is the 1944 1-cent wheat penny, another unassuming Lincoln cent that has managed to reach a mind-blowing valuation of $4.5 million. And just like with the 1954's, the story of this coin is wrapped up in history, rarity, and the strange twists of minting fate, with the 1944 wheat penny being especially famous because of its peculiar origin during the turbulent years of World War II, when copper was urgently needed for the war effort to make ammunition, shell casings, and other vital supplies. So in 1943 the U.S. Mint temporarily switched from copper to zinc-coated steel for pennies, creating the famous 1943 steel cent. But when production returned to copper in 1944, a handful of coins were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets, or in some cases on different metal compositions entirely, leading to extreme rarity. And these anomalies, combined with the historical backdrop of a world at war, have made certain 1944 pennies, particularly those with off-metal errors or in perfect uncirculated condition, some of the most sought-after coins on Earth, with collectors willing to pay millions for the chance to own such a piece of history. And the wheat penny design itself is iconic, with the noble profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the simple, elegant wheat ears framing the reverse, a design that evokes a time of both hardship and resilience in American history. And what's fascinating about the 1944 $1 million versions is that they can appear almost identical to an ordinary wheat penny at first glance, which means the untrained eye could easily overlook them, passing them along as pocket change without a second thought, which has probably happened countless times. And yet for those in the know, the secret lies in small details: the metallic composition, the exact weight, the subtle mint marks, and in some cases microscopic variances in the strike that tell the story of an extraordinary minting mistake. And one of the most famous examples is the 1944's steel penny, of which only a few specimens are known, each valued at multiple millions, often sparking bidding wars at major auctions like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. And when you consider that these coins started as humble cents intended for daily transactions, the transformation into seven-figure collectibles feels almost magical, like alchemy turning base metal into gold, except here it's turning base metal into life-changing wealth. And again, part of the appeal is not just the rarity, but the thrill of the possibility that someone, somewhere, could find one of these in a forgotten jar of coins, a dusty old change drawer, or even in loose change from a store, which fuels an entire community of coin hunters, YouTube treasure finders, and numismatic experts sharing tips on how to spot these incredible rarities. And like the 1954's penny, the 1944 wheat penny has that irresistible blend of historical significance and extreme scarcity, meaning it doesn't just attract coin collectors but also high-net-worth investors looking for unique assets that appreciate in value over time, making it both a cultural artifact and a financial powerhouse. And if you think about the human stories behind these coins, the mint workers unknowingly striking history, the soldiers who might have carried such a penny in their pockets, the families passing them down through generations without realizing their true worth, it adds another layer of emotional weight, turning these coins into not just metal discs but storytellers in their own right, narrating tales of a nation in wartime, of mistakes that became miracles, and of the unending human fascination with finding treasure. And it's for all these reasons that the 1944 wheat penny, in its rarest and most valuable forms, can command prices up to $4.5 million, placing it among the top contenders in the elite club of the most expensive coins ever sold. A reminder that sometimes the smallest objects hold the biggest surprises, and if the idea that a tiny penny could be worth more than a luxury yacht inspires you to check your own spare change right now, you're not alone. Because millions of people around the world are doing exactly that, each hoping to uncover their own fortune hiding in plain sight. So if you want to keep uncovering stories like this and never miss the next incredible discovery, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're always first to know when we reveal the next life-changing coin find. And moving forward from the legendary 1944 wheat penny, the saga of extraordinary American cents continues with the 1946 1-cent wheat penny, a seemingly ordinary post-war coin that in its rarest form has been known to command an astounding $4 million at auction, carrying with it the echoes of an America just emerging from the shadows of World War II and transitioning into a period of industrial growth and optimism. Yet within that everyday mintage lies a microscopic fraction of coins that, due to minting anomalies, preservation conditions, and sheer luck, have ascended into the numismatic stratosphere. And the 1946 wheat penny shares the same beloved Lincoln obverse and wheat ear reverse that collectors treasure, but certain varieties stand apart because of their unique characteristics, such as off-metal strikes where planchets intended for foreign coins or other denominations were mistakenly used, producing pennies with unusual weights, colors, and compositions, or double die obverse where a second impression creates subtle but valuable doubling in the lettering or date. And these rare traits, coupled with pristine, uncirculated states of preservation, make these coins magnetic to serious collectors and investors alike, with the most pristine examples housed in secure vaults or proudly displayed in elite collections where they are admired as much for their beauty as their value. And what's striking about the 1946 wheat penny's rise to multimillion-dollar status is how it encapsulates the unpredictability of the coin world, because in that year the mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies, flooding the nation with copper coins that clinked in lunch counters, vending machines, and soldiers' pockets returning home from the war. Yet somewhere in that ocean of copper, a handful of numismatic miracles slipped through, surviving the wear of circulation and the melting pots of later decades, preserved perhaps in rolls forgotten in bank vaults or collections, tucked away by sharp-eyed savers who sensed their unusual qualities. And when one of these perfect rarities surfaces today, the response from the coin community is electric, with whispers spreading through forums, dealers, and auction houses that another fabled 1946 gem has emerged, ready to smash price records. And just like the other great rarities, the 1946 wheat penny reminds us that the everyday objects we handle without thought might secretly carry immense wealth, that a tiny copper disc can embody the craftsmanship of mint engravers, the quirks of mechanical presses, and the random yet fateful events that produce collectible legends. And it's this intoxicating blend of history, rarity, artistry, and fortune that keeps collectors scanning their change, visiting coin shows, and poring over auction catalogs with the hopes of discovering the next life-changing find. Because in the quiet gleam of an unassuming penny lies the potential for stories worth millions, and the 1946 wheat penny at $4 million proves yet again that the humble cent can rise far above its denomination to stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest treasures ever struck, fueling the eternal hunt for hidden wealth in plain sight. So make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're always ready for the next incredible chapter in the world of rare coins and unimaginable fortunes. And from the remarkable 1946 wheat penny, the trail of incredible numismatic treasures winds into yet another chapter with coins whose stories intertwine with the very fabric of American history, each one a testament to the strange alchemy of scarcity, condition, and human fascination that transforms pocket change into priceless artifacts. And among them are pieces that have seen the rise and fall of decades, passed silently from hand to hand, store to store, and yet somehow emerged decades later in immaculate condition, defying time itself. And the world of rare coins thrives on such marvels. For every great penny like the 1954s, the 1944, or the 1946, there are others waiting to be discovered, coins minted in moments of transition, in years where equipment changes, metal shortages, or human error create anomalies so rare that they become numismatic legends, and each one carries not just value but a living story. A frozen moment of the past cast in metal, from the rhythmic clank of presses in the San Francisco Mint to the careful hands of engravers etching designs that would become national symbols. And the pursuit of these coins is more than collecting, it is treasure hunting in its purest form, driven by the hope that within a single roll of pennies, a coffee tin of forgotten change, or a small box tucked away in a grandparent's drawer lies a life-changing discovery. And history shows this hope is far from unfounded, for time and again ordinary people have stumbled upon coins worth small fortunes, sometimes sold at modest prices before the full truth of their rarity emerged, other times preserved and passed on until the right buyer came along ready to pay millions. And the high-value wheat pennies in particular hold a special place because their design is so familiar to Americans, the wheat ears framing the reverse like a symbol of growth, endurance, and the quiet strength of the nation through its most challenging times, while the Lincoln profile remains a steady emblem of leadership and unity. And when these coins exist in extraordinary rare varieties, be it a double die, off-metal strike, repunched mint mark, or exceptional proof strike, their value multiplies exponentially, and it's this interplay between history, rarity, and artistry that creates the electric atmosphere at major auctions, where bidders from around the globe compete for the honor of ownership. Their paddles rising in tense increments as prices climb from hundreds of thousands into the millions, each bid carrying the weight of desire, status, and the recognition that they are not just buying metal, but buying a piece of a nation's soul. And as with all legendary coins, the journey of these pennies from common currency to multi-million-dollar treasures is filled with mystery. How they escaped circulation, who first recognized their significance, the winding paths they took through collections and sales before achieving fame, and in the grand scope of coin collecting, they stand as proof that even the smallest, most unassuming object can hold immeasurable worth, a truth that inspires countless people to look just a little closer at the change in their hands, to peer through magnifying glasses at dates and mint marks, to weigh and measure, to dream and to search, because somewhere out there, the next 1954s, the next 1944, the next 1946 is waiting, quietly gleaming, ready to rewrite someone's life story, and when it does, it will join the ranks of the rarest and most valuable coins ever known, and the cycle of discovery, wonder, and fortune will begin again. So make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep following the trail of these hidden treasures and never miss the next chance to learn about a coin that could change your life forever. And following the astounding legacy of the 1946 wheat penny, the path of extraordinary copper treasures takes us into the story of the 1952 1-cent wheat penny, a coin that on the surface appears to be nothing more than a common Lincoln cent minted in Denver during a time when America was basking in post-war prosperity, suburban expansion, and a booming economy, yet in its most pristine, rarest form has been known to command an eye-watering $2.5 million, cementing its place among the pantheon of elite numismatic finds, and like every legendary coin before it, the 1952 wheat penny's meteoric value comes from a potent mix of scarcity, condition, and historical intrigue, for while the Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents that year, a handful of specimens emerged under circumstances so exceptional, perfect striking, extraordinary preservation, and in some cases subtle minting anomalies, that they have become numismatic royalty, hunted by collectors and investors who know that even the smallest flaw-free survivor from such a mintage can ignite fierce bidding wars, and the wheat penny design of that era carries with it the enduring charm of American coinage, the stoic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse reflecting ideals of leadership and unity, the twin wheat ears on the reverse symbolizing agricultural strength and national growth. A design so familiar to generations of Americans that it almost blends into the background of daily life, which makes the sudden revelation of a rare and valuable specimen all the more breathtaking, because it transforms what was once an everyday object into a multi-million-dollar artifact, and the 1952D's ascent to a $2.5 million valuation is also a lesson in the importance of coin grading. For numismatics is an exacting world where the difference between an ordinary penny and an extraordinary one lies in microscopic details. Perfectly sharp lettering, unbroken luster, immaculate surfaces untouched by wear or contact. Marks, the kind of preservation that can only occur if a coin was set aside at the moment of minting and stored under ideal conditions for decades, perhaps in a sealed roll, a mint-set collection, or the careful hoard of a watchful saver, and it is this almost miraculous survival in top grades that fuels the obsession of collectors, because for every one coin in flawless condition, there are millions that have been dulled, scratched, and worn down through years of transactions, and in the 1952D's case, the rarest examples combine this perfect preservation with subtle differences in die characteristics or planchet quality that make them stand out even among other uncirculated coins, sometimes involving repunched mint marks or faint doubled dies that are invisible to the casual observer but electrify experts. And when such a coin surfaces, whether in the hands of an old collector's estate, in a forgotten safety deposit box, or in a rare coin dealer's showcase, the numismatic community responds like a lightning strike, news spreading through forums, auction previews, and collectors' networks that a once-in-a-decade opportunity has arrived, and the ensuing auction scenes are a spectacle of determined bids climbing higher and higher, driven not only by the desire to own the coin but by the knowledge that once it disappears into a major private collection it may not be seen again for decades. And beyond the sheer monetary aspect, the 1952D penny stands as a symbol of how history, art, and chance can merge in a single small object, reminding us that the value of a coin is never just its metal content or face value but the story it carries, the moment in time it represents, the era of American optimism and industrial might it emerged from, the hands that preserved it, and the chain of ownership that links past to present, and for those who devote their lives to numismatics. These coins are not mere collectibles but living artifacts, each one a testament to the unpredictable magic of minting and the thrill of the hunt, and the tale of the 1952D penny at $2.5 million becomes another shining chapter in the endless saga of treasure hiding in plain sight, a saga that drives countless enthusiasts to check their change, search old jars, and scour estate sales for the chance to find the next great discovery, because if history has proven anything, it is that fortunes can be hiding in the smallest corners of our lives, waiting for the right eyes to uncover them, and so the legend of the 1952D joins that of the 1954S, the 1944, and the 1946, each one a beacon calling treasure hunters onward, deeper into the captivating world of rare coins where the humble penny reigns as king, and with each discovery, each record-breaking sale, and each news story of life-changing finds, the allure of numismatics grows stronger, ensuring that the pursuit of these copper marvels will continue to inspire, astonish, and enrich for generations to come. So, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep following the incredible journey of the rarest coins ever struck and the fortunes they hold. And from the remarkable tale of the 1952D penny, the river of rare coin history flows endlessly forward, carrying with it countless stories of chance, craftsmanship, and fate, each coin a glimmering echo of the era that birthed it. And just as the Denver minted treasure proved that the most ordinary seeming cent can hide life-changing value, so too do countless other coins minted in quiet years hold within them the potential for numismatic greatness, their worth not dictated by size or denomination but by the elusive combination of rarity, pristine condition, and collector demand. And it is this mysterious convergence of factors that turns simple copper into multimillion-dollar artifacts, sparking heated rivalries among collectors, making auction rooms pulse with adrenaline as bids climb higher and higher, and fueling the endless hunt across flea markets, old estates, forgotten safety deposit boxes, and tucked-away family heirlooms, for the possibility of the next legendary find keeps the passion burning. And in the world of rare coins, every date, every mint mark, every tiny imperfection or variation tells a story, sometimes revealing errors so subtle they are invisible without magnification. other times presenting bold, unmistakable features born of mechanical mishap or intentional design change. And these quirks, these rare fingerprints of the minting process, are what transform a common piece of currency into an object of obsession and investment, because in the numismatic universe, history is alive and metal, and owning one of these rarities is like holding a tangible fragment of the past, a relic of the moment it left the dies fresh and sharp. Before embarking on its journey through decades of human hands or hidden preservation, and as stories of the 1954s, the 1944, the 1946, and the 1952D have shown, the next great treasure may be lurking anywhere, which is why the diligent eyes of collectors never rest, scanning every coin, every date, every subtle detail, because once in a while lightning strikes, and the right combination of rarity and condition meets the right buyer, igniting a sale that makes headlines and rewrites the record books. And these moments become milestones in the timeline of coin collecting, inspiring newcomers to join the hunt and seasoned veterans to push ever harder in search of their own holy grail, for in this realm there is no limit to the wonder a coin can hold, no boundary to the heights a humble penny can reach when fortune smiles on it, and this is why the stories will keep coming, because the treasures are still out there, lying quietly in drawers, boxes, and pockets, waiting for the day they step into the light and reveal themselves to be not just money, but history, art, and legend combined. So make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next chapter in this extraordinary journey is already being written in copper and steel somewhere out there, ready to astonish the world once again.